Exploring civil rights here, of course, you know you stirred up a lot of controversy with the 2010 comments.
Me?
And
controversy?
Part of what you said at the time, Senator, was that you had concerns about the rules for private business while you support most of the Civil Rights Act. Why did you evolve on rules for private business?
What I would say is that, to be fair to myself, because I like to be fair to myself, is that I've always been in favor of the Civil Rights Act. So people need to get over themselves writing all this stuff that I've changed my mind on the Civil Rights Act.
All right, folks. Rand Paul, very possibly presidential candidate for 2016 on the Republican side. And welcome to Gimme 5. He was on MSNBC, and this accusation that, you know, he's changed his mind on the Civil Rights Act. He put an end to all that nonsense, and in doing so, he rightfully blasted the very network that he was on. Watch.
Have I ever had a philosophical discussion about all aspects of it? Yeah, and I learned my lesson. To come on MSNBC and have a philosophical discussion, the liberals will come out of the woodwork and they will go crazy and say you're against the Civil Rights Act and you're some terrible racist. And I take great objection to that, because in Congress, I think nobody else trying harder to get people back their voting rights, to get people back and make the criminal justice system fair. So I take great offense to people who want to portray me as something that I'm not.
Yep, and then Malzberg, he doesn't give up. He pursues the line of questioning.
But when you said, well, here, the rules for private businesses are concerning, why not explain that you've evolved on that?
Well, because I never was opposed to the Civil Rights Act, and I've been attacked by half a dozen people on your network trying to say that I'm opposed to the Civil Rights Act, and somehow now I've changed. So I'm not really willing to engage with people who are misrepresenting, you know, my viewpoint on this.
I mean, good for him. Good for him for calling out the folks who have misrepresented his statements. And if it's the MSNBC folks, half dozen of them, then good for him for calling out the MSNBC folks. And he does not shy away. He goes on.
I have never been against the Civil Rights Act. I have never said I was against it. So for people to say that, really, they don't want to have an honest discussion about it.
Right. No, I think the honest discussion is you said that some titles of it, Title II and Title VII, that relate to
the honest discussion of
businesses.
It would be that I never was opposed to the Civil Rights Act. And when your network does 24-hour news telling the truth, then maybe we can get somewhere with the discussion.
Ooh, how below the belt was that one? Woo! All right. Well, they also had, by the way, Cory Booker, Senator Cory Booker from the state of New Jersey. I still can't believe I say that. Senator Cory Booker from the state of New Jersey was also sitting there in studio, and the conversation turned to drug sentencing laws and the criminal justice system, and here's more.
Senator Paul, in your view, is the enforcement of the war on drugs racist?
Well, I think it has a racial outcome, I think is a better way to put it. I think it's inadvertent, so I don't think everybody's plotting to make it that way. But you can't escape the facts that, you know, 3 out of 4 people in prison are black or brown for drug problems. And frankly, I think it has to do with several things. It's easier to arrest people who live in poverty. It's easier to arrest people who live close together. It's easier to arrest people where there are more patrols going on. And then we also give government grants to the police force based on arrest and conviction records.
So you think it's accidentally racist?
Well, yeah, I think it has a racial outcome.
All right. Everything Rand Paul described, people living close together, people living in poverty, whatever, all those things he described, increased patrols in those areas, is because he's describing high crime neighborhoods. Okay? That's why there's more arrests in those neighborhoods. And it's not like the people aren't doing what's against the law. They're doing it, and they're getting arrested for it because it's a high crime neighborhood. That's not too hard to figure out. Here's one more.
I think there's even stronger motivation that, you know, if I told you, you know, 10 people were being put to death that were black for every one, you'd be concerned, would there be a racial element to that? Yeah, I think it should give us more drive to fix the problem. But the problem really of the war on drugs is taking a lot of people who make youthful mistakes. It's punishing them for a lifetime. And I think if we can get them back into both voting as well as working, they're much less likely to get in trouble.
All right, well, you know, you break the law, you get punished. If you know what the punishment is, you don't break the law. Okay, we're coming back, folks, but first stay tuned for your Newsmax Now update.